Welcome to Missoula, Montana. This is the Presbyterian Church. The Reverend John Maclean preached just up the road from his house. You know, I saw this movie like many did when we were younger. I think the thing that sold me was I saw Robert Redford say something about he picked up the book, he read the first line, he read the last line, and whatever came between it he was going to make a movie about. I always liked that line. So I watched the film, and then in my 20s read the book and thought I knew all of the facts of this thing. But as we've tracked it down a little bit more, it's tough to nail down exactly all the players involved, you know. But what I can tell you is this is the church. This is where the church was that the Reverend John Maclean helped build. And whether this is still the same church, I've read on some message boards that this is not they've rebuilt it since then, and others that this is it. Their house is just right down here. We'll drive the van down there. I'm parked in the back lot here. I thought this was really cool. An interesting story. It's got brothers. It's got Montana. It's hard not to like it, right? So we're going to investigate it just a little bit, and we'll see how much of the story we can tell that may or may not have already been told. We'll see. Montana all around you. Can you imagine having a church service in this area? Just right here. Imagine what this would have been like back then. Now it's all this, but back then, before the world got in a big hurry.
Well,
right. So how far are we from the house right now? We're not very far.
At all.
So we could drive from here to the house.
Drive or walk, whichever you prefer.
Let's drive it.
Okay.
So
we've got, let's slow down.
Right in front of the church right now. So we're walking home after the church service.
We're walking home, and we start to slow down.
And it's
because our home is right
there. So yeah.
Beautiful old trees.
This is the home of Paul, Norman, the mother, father. Here it is. Let's get a front porch view. Here, hold this. So yeah, just right there's the church. It's right here. Be really quick. And that's the house. This was their boyhood house. Too cool. So right here. Right through this gate, they would run out to here and down to the church. So I'm left to assume, well, what a beautiful house. It's not as small of a house as I would have thought. You know, you would have expected maybe all right, let's see what else we can see.
And everyone in the neighborhood knows who you are and who your father is.
So the reality of the story also is this. The house was here, the church is there, where they filmed the house and the church in the movie, that's in Livingston, or other spots. Bozeman, Livingston. Where they filmed the river scenes were in different spots. If I am living here and I'm going to church there, what's the closest body of water to me right now? Let's look on the map.
It's gotta be that Clark.
The Clark Fork.
Yeah.
So as we drove in from the west, we've just come from Oregon area. We back and forth. The Clark Fork was snaking under us the whole time. And as we'd come in from the east on our way west, you know, we saw the Bigfoot, we saw the Blackfoot River, Little Blackfoot and Big Blackfoot coming in. So now I'm imagining going from here where they might actually have gone and fished. That's it.
You could easily walk to the Clark Fork.
So we're going to do a drive right now that would go right to the closest fishing spot. Now keep in mind, people will say, oh, they fished here, they fished there, but come on, guys. A man that's going to build the church across the street from the house, he ain't going to walk that far to fish, I don't think. So let's go check out the closest, route me to the closest river point from this spot.
Okay. If we walked it or went as a crow flies, if we're 2 streets that way, that's the house.
The house and the church is right over there. So this would have been quick walk. And the Clark Fork River, described in the movie, they would say, you know, Missoula in that time was a town where cowboys would come down and be ranch hands, and Indians were teepeed up along the Clark Fork River, which is right here. Check it out. It's pretty. Now here's a picture of the area back in those times. Now this is that river.
Oh, cool.
Look what's along the bank here. Right where we're standing. Wow. Here's the river bed, and here they are. Here's Missoula. Here's the portrait of John.
Oh, it really does look so different.
Bitterroot plants grew thick throughout the valley floor, drawing Indians here to harvest the nutritious roots each May. Try to imagine what the valley looked like when these Salish teepees were photographed near this location around 1890. 1890.
So this is a drawing of the Bitterroot. Is that what these are supposed to be, and then they bloom flowers? I see big bulbs like flowers are coming, and it's everywhere.
So this is the closest river. This is the Clark Fork River, the closest river to this is the closest river to the Maclean family home and the church, which is just right over those trees. And there does seem to be some rough water down there in some spots. I would go so far as to say this was probably a pretty regular fishing spot. Baptize you guys in the Clark Fork River. Been here. And there's somebody out in it riding something. I don't know wakeboard or something.
He's riding the current down there.
Yeah. Yeah, so I bet this would have been a spot where the brothers would have fished, right here amongst these rocks. Do it. And there's still a teepee on the Clark's Ford River, right back there. Okay, so we're sitting here and we're talking over. You know, we watched the footage as we go, make sure we got the footage, and we're looking at the house. And went back by it. We've been by it now. This was like our second or third trip by it, and it hit us. It just doesn't look like it's built in 1900, like. Back when there were teepees on the Clark Ford, a house that looks like that was built. And so Nini's looked it up and show us here.
Yeah,
show me the ad if you can.
According to just like a general online
year built 1900.
1900.
And what did it last sell for?
You really want to know?
I do want to know.
$550,000.
The house that the Reverend John Maclean built in 1900 now sells for over $500,000. I wonder how many of the rest of the houses on that street are from that time period. That might be a project some of you guys could look up. What was the street name?
It's 5th Street.
5th Street in Missoula, Montana. If you want a project, if you want to kind of visualize what the rest of that neighborhood might have looked like from the angles we've shown, look up other addresses other than his, left and right, across the street. South 5th Street East, and see what other home build dates might be. What are other prices in your, like, was the neighborhood full, or was he the only house probably on the block? We can probably find that out from listings and year built dates in the descriptions.
True. Yeah,
it'd be kind of cool to put together, when we finish this, to have an image in our mind of what it might look like. We're going to look for some images too of the house and the church. This is the Yellowstone River in Paradise Valley. It's where a lot of the scenes for the movie were shot. And as Montana would be, I imagine, where they fish themselves. Beautiful tree, old tree. Been here a while. Been here a long while. Everybody's made a gag of stepping on that one. Welcome to the University of Chicago, everybody. This is where the Macleans were finishing their education and teaching. This is it, University of Chicago. And then the spot we want to show you, where Paul was walking that fateful night, is not but 5 minutes from here. So we're going to take a little trip from this spot to there. This is it. Paul was a month away from his master's degree when he got killed. 1 month away. His brother was teaching here. His brother gets word of his death. He has to take time and take his brother's body on the train all the way back to Montana. University of Chicago, beautiful campus. The most Montana-like stretch of land in all of Chicago, right here. All right, hello everybody. This is the spot right here where Paul Maclean, May 3rd, 1938, was found. Right here. Right here. South side of Chicago. Very dangerous area. This is where the body was found, right here, against that fence. South side of Chicago. Right here. Paul Maclean, rest in peace. Wow. Paul Maclean was found right there. And from here, he took a trip on a train all the way back to Montana. And this is a story, guys, of two brothers, Montana, good father, good mother, and the train lines run through it. Get out of here. Here we go. We're here now at the Missoula Cemetery. This would have been the train tracks that would have brought Paul's body back from Chicago to this spot here where his family would have gathered. Norman rode the train back with him from all accounts that we've been able to read. So imagine that, you know, Chicago, Norman's working at the school. His brother's just about to have his master's degree from the school. He's a month away from having his master's degree, Paul is. And in the back alley, he lost his life. And they brought him back here on a train. So now this is the official walk to the grave. If you come here, this is how you get here. And hopefully you won't have to brave the gauntlet of the sprinkler system. Like we're about to have to.
A little rainbow and that was kind of fun.
Yeah, there's a rainbow. Silver lining there. All right, this one's heading straight for us.
Pretty intense.
Run! I just got soaked. Yeah, we're definitely getting soaked out here. Clear the lens. Oh yeah, you guys definitely got soaked. All right, I've learned a lesson here today. We'll go around them. Sorry, mister. Don't be mad at me. They put a sprinkler on your grave. Okay, so here it is. Paul, his mother Clara, and his father John are buried here at this spot. There's three graves right here. Two of them stood and watched the burial of that one son. The other son traveled from Chicago with the body of this son to meet up with the parents, to stand right here where Nini's standing and watch the burial, only to be buried here later. And Norman Maclean himself was spread on the Blackfoot River. So that's a story right here. A story happened right here. A really heavy moment for this family happened right here.
3 years after the son passed.
3 years after the son passed, the father passed. The mother made it for another 11. All right, babe. Let's walk out of here. So we'll give you the walkout tour as a crow flies to the front gate. You see the van? I see it. All right, here we go. Thank you. There you have it. There you have it. That's finality, usually, in this story. But with the power of writing and art, and music and film, the story can go on. And that's why we're here.